Hey, Taco here. Come along with me on my paramotor flight from Sunday afternoon. It was almost sunset. I had about an hour until sunset or so. You can see me running like crazy. There's my game changer toggles on my left hand, you can see. Had a little bit of trouble keeping the glider overhead at first. It wanted to go right, so I moved right, then it wanted to go left, and I moved left. Finally, I got it where I was happy with it, directly overhead, and goosed it. Now, the first thing you'll notice is exactly how gross the wind was. The PPG report had predicted it was going to be between 3 and 5 miles per hour, all generally headed for the same direction, with like gusts 2 miles an hour over that. Well, as soon as I took off and got above that tree line, immediately I was hit. You can see I'm going 16, 17 miles an hour. Keep that one in mind. You can see I'm going, as soon as I took off, I banked to the right because I've got a relatively strong wind coming off my right. So the glider wanted to go into the wind. So I had to keep it, I had to keep a little left brake pulled there in order to keep myself straight. And at this point, it's very bumpy. And all I really want to do right now is land. I am not really happy. You can see my heart rate there. It's still at 172, 173. So I'm not able to relax at this point. It's just really unpleasant. And I almost thought about landing straight ahead on the runway. Which I probably should have done. I probably should have just cut back to the left, gone power off, and come straight down and done the walk of shame back to the car. But you can see now I've turned around, I'm cutting to the left there, and I'm going to do downwind. And I was supposed to be good. The wind was supposed to be good right up to 3,000 feet, which I wasn't going to go to. I was going to stick around 1,200, 1,500 max. It was cold. And then the wind above 3,000 was getting up to like 10 miles per hour. So I decided to stay low. Look at the look at the airspeed indicator, which is really a ground speed indicator because it's running on GPS. But now I'm going, I was going 27 miles an hour just a second ago. And now it's down to 23 and 22. So a lot of variation in wind speed, and the glider was really bumping around a good bit. I don't know if it's happened yet, but at some point during this flight, the chin strap was kind of choking me underneath that hood. Yep, there it is. And it popped loose. And it was all I could do. I had to keep reaching up and pushing my helmet down. I could not stow the toggles long enough to fix the chin strap. So I almost lose my helmet at one point. That really kind of ticked me off. And then my second problem was I had to that hood I got on my face that's supposed to keep all the wind off was doing a great job keeping the wind off. But when I would look to the right and then back to the left, the hood would get pulled across the front of my face. So at some point I had only one eye. The other eye was covered up. So it was just, the whole flight just sucked. Good points though. I had on 3 pairs of pants. I had long underwear, sweatpants, and then my thin Columbia performance fishing gear pants over the top of it. I had a sweater, a long sleeve, moisture wicking shirt, and that green, kind of looks like a cloth version of a bomber jacket. I had that green thing. I was warm, and my gloves. I could have flown, if the weather had been nice, I could have flown around for over an hour, which was my intent. But I was going to fly right up through sunset and then land. But it was just really uncomfortable. So I get over the runway and I look down at my windsock on my car, And I'm not sure if y'all can see it very well, but it's just the gray streamer. When I get over the main runway and I'm coming in like I want to land, I look down and I see the streamer, and it's pointing off to the side. So between the time I took off and now, the wind has shifted almost 90 degrees. And so I'm like, oh crap, this isn't going to work. So there's no way I can land in that sideways. So I veer off to the left, and I'm thinking I could lose some altitude and then cut right and then come in over the fence and drop down. But I wasn't really happy with that. I wanted to get a nice long run, so I came in over the trees, and you can see now I'm pointed back downwind again, and I'm going, there's 29 miles an hour. I'm not using any trims on this flight. I was fully trimmed in the whole time. I had enough wind for takeoff that I didn't need trims. And so now I'm swinging in and I'm lining up across the runway. I hate taking off and landing across the damn runway. And it just seems like my last 4 or 5 takeoffs have been from about this angle. Taking off across the daggum runway and immediately right over the trees. And I hate that. I'm going to have to find me another airfield that's more east and west. I think there's a grass strip near my house that I could probably do it. So now I'm getting bumped around pretty good, and ready to come in and land, and I'm a little bit long. There was no other traffic. I had checked, and I'm like, oh well, I'm going to go right up to the asphalt runway there, sideways, and then I just screw the landing. I don't know what I was thinking about. Probably just glad to get on the ground, and I kind of stumbled. I didn't put one foot in front of the other is what I did, and my feet didn't know who was to go first. And then the next thing I know, the glider is on top of me, and I'm freaking out because I don't want the glider to fall onto the hot engine and melt my glider, because I just got it inspected. So real quick, I scooched it, and I did check it really well later. And it was not damaged by the engine. So the lines are okay, the cloth is okay. That was it. Don't go splat.